Hey everybody, Andy Kvernen here with another Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. You know, I've always been a pretty motivated person. When I was a kid, I was in Awana at church, and we had these competitions to see who could say the most sections in a night, who could get the high pointer, and you could earn Awana bucks so you could spend them, kind of like our kids do church bucks here at Cornerstone. At the end of the year at a festival, a carnival, we had Awana quizzing where it was a competition. You competed against people from around the state. I loved that. I loved to compete. I wanted to kind of be center stage, and do my thing. I got into sports and playing basketball. I wanted to be the guy that shot the free throw. I wanted to be the person that was on the field in football when it mattered. I wanted to be the captain, those kinds of things. That's just kind of the way I am. That's the way I'm wired. I've always wanted that. And, as I've grown older, I've come to know more about myself and know that wiring in me is something that's good. There's good parts of that. Actually, my Strengths Finder, some of you have interacted with that. One of my strengths that often shows up in Strengths Finder testing is achiever. I like to achieve stuff. I like to know that what I'm doing is accomplishing something for the good of those around me, perhaps when it's in a redeemed state, sometimes for myself, when it's maybe in more of a carnal state. And as I've gotten to know myself, I start to realize this is at play as a part of who I am. Maybe some of you are achievers. Maybe you like to think that you're making a difference, you're accomplishing tasks, you're getting it done, and you're moving the needle. And friends, Jesus was hanging out with a bunch of achievers in the first century in the Gospels. And he was hanging out with Pharisees. Now, I'm not automatically calling myself a Pharisee here, but I think you'll see some things to watch for those of us that are wired to achieve. Jesus is having a banquet with these guys, and these are the kind of the cream of the crop of the society, right? They're the people that know the most about the law. They're the people that are out front. Everybody knows who they are. They're the most public. And Jesus is interacting with them, and at some point in the conversation, he starts to challenge them on some of the things that they think are important. And so I want to read to you from Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through about 14. Okay? And this is what Jesus says, or this is what the story says, and Jesus' words are quoted quite a lot. It says, when he noticed how the guests picked the places of honor at the table, he told them this parable. Okay, he's noticing that the Pharisees are choosing. They're kind of got a pecking order. Who gets to sit in the place of the highest prominence? Jesus responds to that. He responds to these achievers. He says, when someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. If so, the host who invited both of you will come and say, give this person your seat. Then, humiliated, you will have to take the least important place. But when you're invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he'll say to you, friend, move up to a better place. Then you'll be honored in the presence of all the other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. What's Jesus saying here? He's saying, look, if you're wired to want to sit at the highest place, in the place of honor, if you're wired to want to achieve, and obviously it's kind of a blatant, like, of course those guys are screwing up. Of course that's selfish and prideful and whatever. It's overt there. Jesus is calling out. I get that. But friends, we tend to want to move to that place of honor in more subtle ways, don't we? We want to be the first in line. We want to get noticed for the job we're doing at work. We want to have that place on the important team or committee or whatever at church. We want to be a mover and a shaker. We want to have an audience with that politician in town or in our state or whatever it is. What Jesus says is, look, if you strive for those things, if you sort of push your way to the top, be careful, because somebody may say, hey, you don't belong here. You need to go to the back of the line. And then humiliated, what are you going to do? But he says, if you go about your business and you honor God and honor people in the process, and you start in the back of the line and somebody asks you to move up, how much better is that? He says, look, the first are going to be last, and the last are going to be first in the kingdom of God. And then listen to what he says in verses 12 and through 14. It says, and Jesus said to his host, when you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers or sisters, your relatives, or your rich neighbors. If you do, they may invite you back, and so you'll be repaid. You'll get your reward. They may come, and you may get invited to their stuff. But, listen to this, but when you give a banquet, Invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. Friends, there's a lot of things we can do in this life to earn reward. I'd call it temporal reward, stuff that doesn't last, stuff that we can't take with us. But Jesus says, when you treat the poor with dignity, when you invite them to the table, when you care for the least of these, you're storing up reward for yourself in heaven. And wouldn't it be sad if all we earn is something in this life when we get to the next? Because what happens in this life is only temporary. What happens in the next is forever. Friends, let's not get to the next life and be sorry that we stored up for ourselves all our treasures on this earth. Let's keep our eye on the prize. Are you an achiever today? Maybe you're like me. Let's remind each other. Let's keep our eye on the eternal, and let's be about the business of Jesus. God bless you, friends. Have a great day. And Lord willing, we'll see you again soon on the Cornerstone Connection.